Magik is my recommended character for players starting out as a melee duelist. Melee duelist is the hardest role to learn in the game. It requires a lot of understanding of all the different moving pieces within a team fight and requires you to understand how to safely move around the battlefield. Magik solves some of these problems because she has great mobility. Cliff, you bitch, Jeff, okay. And there's Luna Snow, let's get her, let's take her out. And her auto attack range is massive with his shield up, aha, and a hi-ya, and got him. What is that from? And she's got some pretty easy combos. Oh, that guy's like, ha, and a hi-ya, and I kick her, sir. Now on to her kit. Magik's basic attack is a 3 combo sword slash that's very slow, but has some really long range. The hitbox on this thing is massive, and it is really noticeable in combat. Most of the other dive characters have a very small hitbox for their attacks, and it's a lot harder to get their combos off. Her right click causes her to shoot out a small projectile out of her sword. This has a charge up mechanic that you can use to hold down and charge it up to maximum, shooting out a thing that does about double the damage of the base. There's 2 main situations to use this charge up ability. First, if you're getting absolutely denied entry into the enemy team, you might want to use this just to help your ranged DPS break through the wall that you can't break into yourself. The charge up attack can do a surprising amount of damage to enemies, not expecting a melee character to pump out that much ranged damage. The second situation would be if you found someone unawares. You can charge up this attack and unleash it on a target that wasn't ready for you to chunk their health before you finish the rest of your combo. This right click ability does do an animation cancel on your basic attack. So if you unleash a basic attack and the moment damage is registered, you right click, it will stop the rest of the initial attack animation and begin the right click animation, doing the next burst of damage very quickly. This can definitely help you take out targets in a much faster burst rather than waiting for the full swing duration of a basic attack into a second basic attack. Umbral Incursion is your E ability, and this is a straight line dash that if it intercepts a target, will knock the target up in the air and deal some damage to them. You can use this to get around the battlefield easily and get into the enemy lines a lot faster. If you are diving in, try and make sure that the very end of this dash does intercept a target to take advantage of that extra attack and knock up. After knocking the enemy up, you can easily follow this up with a sword attack or a right click attack onto the target while they're in the air in front of you for an extra burst of damage. This dash gives the final part of your quick takeout of a target. If you're able to hit a target with a basic attack, then animation cancel into your right click ability and then immediately hitting E, hitting them and knocking them up, following that up with the final melee attack, you're able to wipe out squishy targets quickly and effectively. Her shift ability will open up a portal that she'll step through and appears a short distance away. During this time, she is invulnerable to damage, and after coming out, both her left click and right click abilities are empowered. Your left click ability becomes Eldritch Whirl, which does a big AoE slash around you, and your right click ability will become Demon's Rage, summoning a small little quasit to help you battle your opponent. This does not set your regular right click ability on cooldown and is its own separate interaction. Her ultimate ability, Darkchild, allows her to transform into a demonic visage. In this form, her attacks are slower but deal more damage and will hit in sets of 3. And then the demon does quite a bit more damage if it's summoned after the shift right click. Don't Darkchild transformation in front of other players. It's really predictable and you're able to be wiped out rather quickly before you can do anything effectively. Try and use the Darkchild transformation while you're out of line of sight and then dive into the enemy lines and assassinate. Her passive, Limbo's Might, makes it so that when she deals damage, she gains temporary health. His bonus health pool can go above her maximum health and give her quite a bit of survivability. As long as she continues to be able to deal damage, she'll keep regenerating this even if she's taking an onslaught from the enemy team. This allows her to usually be able to wipe out a target before that target can take her out. Magik is the activator for the team-up dimensional shortcut with either Black Panther or Psylocke. This team-up ability gives those other 2 divers an option to be able to activate a new skill, which will teleport them backwards in time a short duration and then give them a small bit of bonus health. This will allow the divers to be a little bit more effective in their diving actions and be able to shrug off more of the damage they receive when they're trying to get to safety. We'll go over more about that ability in those characters' breakdowns, to try and convince those other 2 divers to be on your team when you're playing the Lady of Limbo. So playing Magik, you need to flow through the different styles of play. Try and find an opening where you can sneak down a side path and find your way towards the enemy back line. Dash quickly out towards your priority target and wipe them out in a series of fast attacks. Then assess the situation and see how the enemy team is reacting. If the enemy frontliners or other divers have noticed what you're doing and have turned on you, you're going to want to get out of there. Use your quick mobility and your ability to summon your small demon behind you so that enemies have to run through it, constantly taking damage and powering up your bonus health. If the enemy team didn't notice your dive, you'll move on to the next priority target in the backline, continuing your onslaught as you take out squishy targets that can't hold themselves up against you. In Darkchild mode, you're an absolute bulwark breaker. You can teleport into an entire enemy team and unleash massive amounts of damage, healing yourself for huge amounts of bonus health, and be able to absolutely melt targets. You aren't invincible in this mode, so try and make sure that you're able to get assistance from allied vanguards or supports while you're doing this, but you're definitely a devastating force to be reckoned with. Learning the basics of diving with Magik is a great way to learn the diver role effectively, and then moving on to more adept characters as you get better at the game. I hope this guide helped you get into the action as Magik. I'm Zesty Fresh with Saza Games, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Sazaze.